back to Cricket for Americans. Nick here.
And Gabe, the five-time champs. Woo! Representing the CSK colors.
Welcome to the club.
Anyways, that's right. Mumbai Indians also have 5 titles.
They've been there.
Super excited to get back and talk a little cricket. It's been such a busy summer for us so far. A busy second half of the school year, but
very busy.
Still paying attention to cricket, and man, I gotta say, it's bittersweet, Nick. And the reason I say it's bittersweet because I still feel like CSK we're gonna win regardless, right? I feel they were destined, but everybody's gonna complain because of the Duckworth-Lewis, right?
Duckworth-Lewis.
But here's the reality.
Hate it.
It's better than them had just gone to the scorecards and said, well, this team had a higher winning percentage, so they're automatically going to be crowned champs. That would have been ridiculous. I would have pushed it out another day. I'm not sure if it would have drained the next day, but they only got one day to make up a game. I think it's ridiculous.
Thank you so much.
And this rain short and stuff, I don't like it. With that being said, CSK champs, love it, 5-time. If Dhoni wants to retire now, listen, drop that mic, cousin. Nobody's going to do 5 IPL championships. Your boy Rohit, who we'll talk about later, is on the decline. And I just don't think there's not going to be a dominant franchise, because we've seen now 2 years in a row, the new franchises, especially, I always mess it up, the Titans. I want to say Gujarat Titans, Gujarat Titans, bro. They're for real.
They all went back to back.
They're for real. So it's exciting to see, and I'm excited for the next season of the IPL. But I'm happy. Winning ways. I mean, your thoughts on this season of the IPL?
So I love that he jumped in because he's super excited. Just to give a quick look, this is kind of a different video. We just want to share some of the big things that are happening in cricket that we missed because, like you said, we've been so busy. We're in the middle of summer school right now. I don't want to go through all the details, but we are absolutely slammed right now. So I'm reading all the comments about the people saying, why aren't you talking about the IPL? It wasn't by any kind of design, but we wanted to spend some time on that. And we're also going to talk about the WTC as we are in the midst of it. I'm going to edit this and post this same day, so it's before day 4 starts. We got a lot of thoughts, so stick around for the entire video. If you like what we talk about anyway, please don't forget to
like and subscribe.
Really, really helps us out. So the IPL was a fantastic. It was a fun IPL. Personally, for me, I root for RCB and Mumbai. I did not like their chances going into this season, and RCB was fighting to the very end. They missed it because of past mistakes in the season. They barely missed the playoffs once again. And then Mumbai, I did not think they were going to have a playoff run in them.
Right.
And they did pretty well. They won the first matchup, then they lost to the Titans. Lost to them pretty badly, actually.
Right.
But I was impressed with what I saw with Mumbai, with the exception of Rohit Sharma. Any magic he had, any magic whatsoever as a captain, as the person with the buck stops here, where I was just shouting for years about how, but he wins. It's done. That magic is done. We saw it for that one matchup. Who'd they play? The Super Giants, right? We saw it in that. They won by like over 100 runs or something like that. They bowled them out. It was crazy. I mean, I have it right here, for crying out loud. They won by 81 runs, excuse me. We saw it there. But he has not had the magic whatsoever at all. It's been very disappointing, and he hasn't been able to score too many runs. Now, I say that, and someone's like, oh, but he was like 10th in scoring. I would be shocked if he had that much. I'm going to check it out right now. Rohit Sharma, they show me the top 15. He's not in the top 15.
No.
So, as an opener, very, very disappointing. They don't have the best bowlers. You had some great spots by Behrendorff. You had some great spots by their young kids. I can't remember his name right now, getting some wickets. But I was wrong. I was absolutely wrong. Cameron Green was a monster this season in the IPL. He had a slow start, but for the money they spent on him, dare I say, money well spent.
Well spent.
Obviously, Sky lost his mind with, I think, a few centuries this IPL season. You had Ishan Kishan doing what he does, right? He has flashes, but that's all you're going to get from him.
Right.
I was happy with their season, but this season, it came down to the 2 best teams easily in the season. Now, I want to say one quick thing. This is the second year that we had these 2 expansion teams.
Right.
And both years, they both got to the playoffs.
Right.
You realize that? I forgot they got in the playoffs last year. Right. They said, we don't care if we're new. We're going to be there. Now, the Super Giants, I think they played a little bit over their ability this year, which is still fine with them. Yeah, lucky. They put the luck in luck now, as I like to say. But that's super impressive. So the other 8 teams, there's only 2 spots now. You better figure it out. the Super Giant, the Super Kings, CSK, and the Titans were by far the two best teams going into the season. But CSK, I look at their roster, I look at their players, I look at some of them. We always talk about the age, but they got some young blood in there right now. They did not have a Deepak Chahar sighting until I think the very, very end, if I'm not mistaken.
Right. He was
injured. They don't have the best team on paper. I'm sorry, they don't. I think that's the Titans by far.
Captaincy matters, bro. Captaincy
Royals
matters.
You can throw in that conversation as well.
Right.
But
the Royals is a lack of captaincy because their squads are always stacked. Bro.
If you're a Rajasthan fan, you're clinging on to that first title that they got in the very first inception year, but you've got to be almost as ticked as I am as being an RCB fan. But the CSK, they just know how to get it done. Right. Captaincy definitely matters. We saw that little experiment with Jadeja for a few games, and they said nope. They had the balls to make the change. He had the stones and the humility to say, I'll still be on the team. I won't be a distraction, even though I got dethroned. And I'll still help you win a championship, which he definitely always does. Right. He's always a monster. CSK is just that team that just drives me crazy because they're able to get it done more times than not. Even though finals appearance, I think they're 5 for 10 right now. But still, my time watching the IPL, of course, they have a better success rate in there. Right. They're just that impressive team, but the Titans, Rashid Khan, I think this was his best season in any domestic league he's ever been in. Right. He was an absolute monster, and he didn't even get the purple cap. That was Shami. You had two of the top three wicket takers on your team. Shami, unfortunately, was non-existent like a lot of the Titans were in that final game. And even though I hate the fact it was decided by Duckworth-Lewis, CSK easily earned that win because they were going to win even if it wasn't cut down to 20. It would have been an epic collapse, dare I say, an English batting collapse for them to lose. And
that's how I would have felt, you know what I mean? To your point, everybody laughs about the age on CSK, but it was some of the young guys, right, this season. Ruturaj Gaikwad, that's my guy. He ended up, 7th overall?
He was 7th, but don't you think he was, not as good as we've seen in the past?
He had a couple flashes, but yeah, he wasn't as good as we've seen in the past. Of course, DC, right, Devin Conway putting it away.
Huge.
One of the things that's funny, that I wanted to talk about Captaincy Matters was there was a big story last year, not just in the IPL, but in the world of cricket with Virat Kohli, right? And everybody talked about Virat Kohli losing his captaincy and how that was going to affect his game. Again, him stepping down, and then, if you're going to step away from the captaincy of I think it was the ODI team, then you might as well, the papers called him out. They're like, there's no more pressure-packed captaincy than the IPL. And he was like, okay, well, I'll give that up too. He was being attacked. And Kohli held court this year. And he's held court not just in the IPL and T20. He's held court in Tests as well. Is it safe to say that captaincy maybe just doesn't suit him and not having to deal with the noise, not having to deal with the pressure? Dude, the numbers are numbers. And he's holding court. He's playing well. Remember how bad? And when we first came in, we were like, man, this is the Virat Kohli everybody's so excited about. We watched it for almost 2 years. The guy struggled, and he would have flashes. But now, he's back. Remember, they had the Kohli countdown. 377 days since his last century. You know what I mean? Bro.
And since he's had several in all formats.
And this year, what did he end up? 4th?
Fourth in scoring.
And scoring only 14 games.
Didn't get any playoff games.
139 games. Had he had playoff games, he would have, obviously performed better. But, dude, it's again, I think that captaincy wears on people and it matters. We saw Jadeja crumble in the few games that he had as CSK captain. And to your point, there's never a better team on paper, in my opinion, every single IPL auction than the Rajasthan Royals. They always look amazing, and then they always disappoint.
Jaiswal, you have Jaiswal, you have Butler and you have
Samson.
You have Padikkal and Samson as scrubs.
Bro,
3 and 4.
But they're just not captain.
And then they have the closer in Hitmeyer. They got everyone you can think of, and they got Shahal who takes the wickets.
They cannot win. It's such a frustrating thing, and I know Rajasthan Royal fans think I'm always beating up on them, but they are.
We love the Royals. We want them to succeed so bad. It's just a fun team, but they just can't get it done.
They don't get it done.
I want to give some love to Shubman Gill. You've been calling his name ever since the moment you saw him play.
When he was with my KKR.
He went nuts. Titans are loaded. They knew who to pick. And 890 runs. Now, the playoffs definitely helped him because Faf was actually leading him by the end of the regular season. Shubman Gill went in there, almost got 900 runs. like I said, Jaiswal 5th in scoring with 620, right below Kohli. Shubman Gill had 3 centuries, and if I'm not mistaken, I think 2 might have been in the playoffs, or maybe 1 near the end of the season and 1 in the playoffs. Yeah. He absolutely showed up when he needed to, except for that final game. I mean, you can't get a century every single time.
Right.
A lot of great performances, a lot of great surprises, a lot of letdowns. I mean, SRH is still SRH. I think the biggest letdown of this season, though, has got to be KKR, because I still think they have so much talent, and it literally was non-existent this season.
Nick, it was a good thing for Shubman Gill to get away from KKR, and I can admit it. I love, you know me. To me, KKR seems like a toxic environment, a toxic franchise. And here's the thing. I remember watching these games and them dropping Shubman Gill from, 3rd in the batting order to 2nd in the batting order, all the way to the bottom, replacing them with the Hamburglar. You know what I'm saying? Nick, that's his impression. That's his impression. And, they've got so much talent on that team, but guys are always hurt. Andre Russell's always hurt. And I just don't feel like it's a cohesive unit, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? Individually, they got a lot of guys that can put up stats. Nitish Rana, we've seen put up. But
I thought he captained pretty well this year for a first-time captain.
But
Rinku Singh, they got the young boy raking and driving people crazy.
And it's still the same results. No championships, letdowns. And I'm as a fan of KKR, I'm gonna say I'm not happy. I think it's time I call for a vote of no confidence in the current leadership.
SRK?
It's SRK. Because it can't be the captains, because they keep switching captains. You know what I mean? In the time I've been there, I think it started off with Owen Morgan. Then it was Andre Russell. I think we've been watching and following cricket 3-4 years now, and there's been 3 or 4 different captains for KKR. What does that tell you? What does that tell you? Maybe it's not the captain that's the problem. Just saying.
It's I know what you're going to say. You're going to say, Nick, they were only 2 points below RCB. I get that. Biggest disappointment. But maybe they have some competition with the Delhi Capitals. Our first few seasons, they were always the class of the league. They were always in the playoffs. 2 of those 3 seasons, they should have won the finals. They didn't.
They should have won that
This season, you have a seasoned David Warner captain who's been there and won it before with SRH as a captain. He was scoring runs. He was looking pretty good. And they have all these names and nothing. I mean, the Rishabh Pant injury, and it happened before the season started. I get that. But that was maybe he's the heart and soul of this team.
Possibly.
Because they weren't even a shell of their former selves. They were second to last in the standings, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah.
Of course. Behind
SRH. Yes. Robbie has not made an appearance. He's not left his room.
Oh, Robbie. Poor Robbie.
It's been rough.
It's been rough for Robbie. I mean, it's been rough for all SRH fans, just to say. Yeah, all SRH does is go to the auction and screw it up for everybody else.
And the fans...
I'm just sorry.
It's just eye candy. That's all it is for SRH. Literally. But no, you're from there. You're not expecting anything, so we don't need to talk about them. But Delhi Capitals, absolutely huge disappointment. But it was actually absolutely a fun season. Our schedule changed, went earlier, so that why we couldn't stream, but we were enjoying watching it. It was a great season. Hats off to CSK. I have no problem with saying that they're champions. Titans had a little better record, but you got to win it when it comes down to it. But Titans, they were super close to back-to-back, which is hard in any sport that you're in. I don't care how many teams are in the mix.
It's impressive.
If there's anything we miss in our IPL quick coverage, please let us know in the comment section. And let's go ahead and transition. And you talked about, I wanted to save this for this transition into the WTC. If you're not aware, Test cricket.
Where's my baggy green?
Test cricket.
Ooh, there's the baggy green. We're not even editing it either. I don't care. Give me a baggy green.
Test cricket is the granddaddy of them all. It is the oldest format in cricket, but they have not had a true World Cup championship type format until just recently. This is the second time. The first one, India, the team I root for. New Zealand went head-to-head. New Zealand beat India. Now you have Australia, the best test team on paper and in the standings, facing India.
Holding court, cousin.
And we're going to talk about, right now, it's after day 3. It's at Stumps right now. Australia's leading by 296. I'm going to pull it up right now. And I believe they have 6 wickets in hand left in this second innings. Let's scroll to the top, Nick. There we go. 120, 1, 2, 3, 4 is what the score is right now after 44 overs.
Right.
You were talking about captaincy. And I was one of the guys very vocal. Get Virat out there. And I still stand by that decision. I think it was the best thing for him as well. Get him out of there. Bring in someone else. Bring in someone like Rohit Sharma, who has proven, IPL, proven in a domestic league to be able to get things done. I could not have been more wrong. I am still. Everyone's waiting. I think even if he puts up a 150 score in the second innings, I'm not going to rant. I think even if he puts up a 150 score, his captaincy is still... You talk about IPL, you talk about ODI, you talk about every format. He is the captain, right? Unless they have like a B team going here or there, he's not the captain there. It has been a disappointment. He is your frontline guy. 15 runs. LBW off Cummins. You can't do that. Shubman Gill, we're singing his praises about the IPL. 13 runs. You cannot tell me captaincy does not have an effect. Let's go back to MS Dhoni, who's still winning championships. Right. He won a Champions Trophy. He won an ODI World Cup. He won a T20 World Cup. There was no WTC at the time. He won every World Cup that was out there for his country, India. And since then, crickets. No one else. No other captain, which largely has been Virat Kohli and now Rohit Sharma, with a few sprinklings of this or that, but I'm not sure about in a World Cup format. Nothing's been able to happen. And I was saying it from day one of this second format or season of the WTC. India will probably get there, but they're not going to show up. And lo and behold, they had Australia by the cojones, if you will. It was, let's see right here, 76 for 3. It was Labuschagne. Labuschagne goes down.
Loose but change.
But Travis Head, who was an absolute monster, goes off 163, gets his 1.5 ton. Stephen Smith goes off.
Baby!
SPD sighting. 121. And then after that, the tail end for Australia is nothing to write home about. But it doesn't matter because Travis Head does this to India. He does this to other countries all the live long day. They put up that 460. Oh my gosh. 469 they put up. Now, I'm not too mad at the bowling, even though he gave up a lot of runs, because my man Siraj, once again, he loves himself some Australia away from India, takes 4 of those wickets. I love seeing that. Had a huge wicket early on, but Travis Head and SPD were the story. I don't want to steal all the thunder, but my point is about the captaincy. Same old India, same old situation. At this point with 2 days left, you can forget about the win, for crying out loud. Now, is there a chance? We'll say 15% or less. 15% or less, not 5015. They have a very few little chance of winning. The only thing they can pray for is a draw because they were not ready. Look at these scores, for crying out loud. 15 runs, 13 runs, 14 runs, 14 runs. And then Jinky Rahane brought some of that CSK love. Everyone that goes there turns to gold, for crying out loud. Oh, literally with the colors. 89, Jadeja, 48. Let me guess. Oh, yeah, CSK right there. And then Lord Thakur does what he does. He gets half centuries.
Oh, Lord Thakur.
As far as bowling, I mean, you can talk about that a little bit, but it's so frustrating as someone that's been supporting India, just wanting to see one World Cup championship, that we're at a point where ties are like kissing your sisters, and in this case, draws are like kissing your sister. No one wants to do it, except for some places in mid-America. No one wants to do it, for crying out loud, but that's what we're hoping for, is a draw for a share of the title, because the WTC format's ridiculous. Should be 2 out of 3. They're hoping for a draw. I don't see it happening. I'm all ready to say congratulations again, Gabe, in one video.
It's
IPL,
the year
WTC. That's what I'm frustrated about. After this, India needs to reset. They need to figure out maybe a different captain for each format. They need to figure out, I'm sorry, Rohit, we all love you. But like you said, he's way past his prime. He's not able to lead these men. And only if he's able to do the impossible and round up the troops for the final 2 days and somehow get a win out of this, he's done, in my opinion.
Here's the reality, Nick. First and foremost, we said it at the very inception of our journey into becoming cricket fans. And I'm serious when I say this. I follow tons of sports. There is no other sport that major mainstream sport you can think of where the captain has the kind of responsibility that captains have in cricket. There's just way too much responsibility, way too much power, way too much. I mean, we just did that the review about underarm, and again, it's the captain telling, even though it was his brother, he could have told anybody
underarm it.
Go underarm them. Again, there's so much, and okay, whatever. That's what the cap says. I mean, there's so much pressure, so much responsibility, and To captain one format is hard enough, but to be expected to captain all 3 formats, there's just no way. I don't know how Dhoni did it. Honestly, I don't know, because then there's also like the media scrutiny, and even when you're doing well, there's also just so much talk. And India they're basically the Yankees, right? They get all the attention, the media attention. So they're doing well, they're gonna get attention. When they're doing bad, they're gonna get even more attention. There's nowhere to hide. There's nowhere to go, and you can tell. To my point earlier in our conversation, it's like the pressure's off Kohli. Whatever. If Kohli was captain right now, they'd be killing him because he scored 1 less run than Rohit. But he's still in a good place. He's still in a good place because he could come back and give you a 50-year century. It doesn't matter. This is on Rohit's shoulders, and he's got to. I mean, I don't know the last time somebody voluntarily gave up the captaincy, but I would say I can't do it. And here's the thing too: when you're the captain, think about it. Sometimes if you got different captains, you're protecting that test team versus the ODI team versus the T20 team, right? What's in the best interest of this team versus that team? I don't want to use this player here or there. But when you're in the captain all 3 teams, you know what I mean? Like, you got to kind of care for everything. Like, look at England. England could care less about T20 at this point. You know what I mean? They've gone all in on baseball. Even though their white ball teams, to my opinion, had the most talent, gave them the most championships, recently. But it's all about putting the resources into test for England right now, right? The best players are there. You had, what's his name? Ben Stokes, right? Stepped down from ODI because he's focusing on test. Again, when you're the captain of all 3 teams, there is no stepping down. There is no rest. So I don't mean to beat up on him, but I've been saying, because Kohli got the kind of hate he got, where's that Rohit hate? I still don't see it. I'm on Twitter scrolling. Oh, India lost. Oh, India's down. Oh, Mumbai chirps here and there. If this was Kohli,
I'm done.
They would have been destroying him. I don't get it. Maybe he just kisses babies. Maybe he's nicest guy ever. I don't know.
He is a great guy. He really is. And he's accomplished a lot in his career in different facets.
Right.
But I'm not prepared to defend him anymore whatsoever. And I'm not trying to be all doom and gloom, but it's the same old. I love an underdog story. And Australia were the favorites here. They really were. You can look at the lineups. Who's Australia missing in their lineup?
And this is what when I want to talk about Australia. This is the squad. This is the side I wanted to see. Stop bringing in all these guys or whatever. Travis Head can absolutely coexist with a loose bus change. Loboshank, of course, with Smudge, with Kawaj, with Warner. That's the lineup you want in there. That's a gauntlet. Okay, you get through Warner, get through Kawaj, you get through Loboshank, you get through Steve Smith, you get through Smudge. I still got some Cam Green for you.
I can see one name that you may want, that you're missing in there, that you may want to see there. Hazelwood, right?
A little Hazelwood.
And you got Scotty Boland in there, but if I'm not mistaken, let me check before I say it. He got himself a wicket.
2 wickets.
Two wickets.
Scotty Boland, love me some Scotty Boland.
He's got the lowest economy rate. So if you have a Hazelwood in there,
there's nowhere to play him.
Is he going to do much better than that? That's pretty good right there.
There's nowhere to play him.
Look at, and this is not an excuse, but I mean, look what India's got up there, for crying out loud. Wicket keeper, Bharat. He just started debuting in like one series a few months ago, for crying out loud, and it didn't work out too well. He got himself some nice catches. That's great. I'm happy for the guy. But that's the best because we don't have Pont right now.
The Pont injury hurt a lot, yes.
But we can't go to anyone else. I would rather a Saha on them. I'm sorry. He had a pretty good IPL season. I would see if some of those batting juices could be flowing right there. You don't have, you have a Thakur. I love Lord Thakur. I like him better as a batter than a bowler. You don't got Boomerang and those elements right there to be able to get some nastiness going on.
And those elements, I think Boomerang
Umesh, I love Umesh, but he's not going to be your first choice.
Boomerang is the nastiest bowler from India, who he has that Aussie mentality where I'm going to beat you up, I'm going to put it in your ribs. We all remember what he did to our boy Jimmy Anderson in that match. Like, oh, Boomerang should have been arrested for that. But injuries happen. I mean, you got to get through injuries, right? I mean, Australia is no stranger to injuries. Come on, Mitchell Stark, just say it. It's always here.
But a lot of injuries, for sure.
With that being said, I think that they're being captained well. And, this is the Australia team I wanted to see. Obviously, you can interchange a bowler here or not. Patty Cummings, once again, doing a masterful job captaining. And really, to me, is like, when are they going to declare? Because that's my concern. My concern is like, listen, you can put up a certain amount of runs, but you got to leave yourself an opportunity to actually win and bowl out India.
You can't play this well for a draw. You can't.
You cannot play this well for a draw. And I get it. It's like you don't want to draw and then have India come back storming and like, uh-oh, what just happened?
I'll tell you right now what's going to happen. Well, do you finish?
It's happened a few times in tests, but not often. I think, I don't know, man, 300, 350 should probably be enough. And I know people are gonna be like, Gabe, are you kidding me? Listen, day 5 pitch, I don't see it, man. You know what I mean? And don't just, if you play this well to go for a draw and not win, then that also says something about you. Does that make sense? You know what I mean? Like, you're afraid to lose. You can't be afraid to lose. Yeah. And you don't want no co-championship. You want to raise that trophy just as New Zealand did, you know, in the last WTC. So today's day 3. Obviously, we've already gotten through day 3. I would say day 4, you probably, at some point, maybe the last, I don't know, 20, 30 overs or whatnot, you know, try to steal a few wickets. Of course, India will throw some night watchmen out there, but steal a few wickets there and then give yourself all day 5 to get the remaining 8 wickets or 9, whatever.
I'll tell you what I do right now. This would be my strategy, and I think it would work perfectly, especially on the mental abilities of Team India. And I'm not saying that they're not mentally tough, but this is what I would do. I would go ham in that first session in day 4. Meaning I got 6 wickets in hand. I'm going to declare right before the end of the first session. Sorry, I am. So we are going to be playing T20 right now, and we're going to be going off. Let's see. Well, let me first see who we got available there, because you got some of those tail enders right there. So you got Cameron Green and Lavish. Oh, yeah, we're going off right now. Labuschagne could be more of the anchor, but Cameron Green, you're swinging for the fences. You got Alex Carey in there as well. Even we've seen Pat Cummins go off from time to time in T20. I'm going ham in that first session to try to get that lead to 380 to 400, and then I'm putting the mental decision. I'm declaring 2 or 3 overs before the first session. Sorry, I am.
Wow.
So that they can go out there. We can hopefully take a wicket. We're all in their heads, and they get to think about that all during the longest break during lunch, and then come out, and now you get a chase for the next 5 sessions. We know you're not going to do it. Our bowling's going to be tough enough. I know that's risky, but I would do that because if you're going to chase close to 400 runs on this bowling ability, on this, good on you. But you're not going to be able to do it because none of your top 4 guys got past 15 runs.
And I know how you're thinking about it.
Get in their head.
You're thinking about 5 sessions, right? You declare, like you said.
If you declare after the second session, you only have 4 sessions to bowl them out.
And that's probably
they're not going to chase, but we've seen it with a broken Ashwin and a broken
I know, man.
I can't remember his name right now. It's killing me. But anyways, we've seen it before where they just they changed the pads. They were standing out there. I would turn it into a mental game because we know India, no offense, I'm a fan too, they crumble under pressure. And to me, that's making a statement. We know you're not going to chase us, so go have.
But if you're Australia, what you cannot do is turn a certain victory or snatch defeat from the jaws of victory.
But if you wait until the 3rd session to declare, you're only allowing yourself 4 sessions to. Then they now have the pressure. For me, it's all about momentum. It's all about mental. We know test is not just a test of athletics. It's a test of mentality.
Right.
So if you don't do it by the end of the first session, then you got to do it within 10 overs of the second session, and then you got to at least do a day and a half.
What do you
India.
What do you think? And you're thinking now. You're saying 380 again. I think that 380 is 400 would be better. I was thinking 350, 360, but 380. But I think they're also gonna, from Australia's standpoint, be a little cautious and not try to score so quickly. You're saying go ham, trying to get to that big.
You know you're gonna declare eventually. So what's the point? What is literally the point?
The point is we've seen India. We have seen miracles, man.
The worst thing that could happen is India can get 6 wickets in that first session, and then they have the momentum and they're batting. But how many times have we seen it? How many times, even if you don't get a wicket before that first session, when you declare before the first session is done, how many times have we seen it, especially with Kohli, where he's on strike, they go to a big break, and he loses his wicket within 2 overs.
That is a good point.
Think about the entire time.
When they come back from that break, a lot of times like they're cold. They're not ready to play.
I'm just saying, this is what I don't want to see happen against India because I know how they have performed in previous. Right. And cricket's like any other sport. Anything new could happen. No one knows exactly for sure. That's my thought. But it's going to be exciting. Like I said, I want to post this tonight, our night, your morning, so we can get the conversation going several hours before day 4 starts. Let us know what you think is going to happen. Let us know, is it like a 70% chance Australia's got this win in the bag? 30% or 20% draw, 10% India win? Or is it more like a 60-30-10? I'm saying it's 65-25-10. 65% chance Australia has this win in the bag.
Oh, my.
25% it's a draw.
Oh, my.
10% India wins. What do you think?
I call it... See, now people are going to get mad at me in the chat.
A push.
I will say 90%. Bro,
Oh!
you heard it here first. With the baggy green.
We have a chance.
Let's go.
Kryptonite.
You know what I mean? Like, listen. No fear. Dude.
Come on, Kryptonite.
Those long-time subscribers are going to be like,
Mush.
oh, Gabe. Yeah. Come on, Mush. I can see it now.
You heard it here first.
Dude.
If Australia ends up losing it's because of him.
Dude, I'll have to hide. You know what I mean? I'll be banned from the internet. I'll have to. There'll be no corners of Twitter where I can hide. Could you imagine? Jack right now is like, no!
I'm going to raise my India chances to 12%.
Jihan's like, what did you just do? Dude, I mean.
Oh, man. Let us know what you think. Thanks for watching this video. Let us know if you want us to do more of these, if we can't get into the lab, so to speak, in live stream. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and until next time.
That's 6 runs.